Good afternoon. My name is David Mboki, teacher of English language at Seloma Christian High School. I would like to welcome you to this program. Last week we looked at comprehension. My colleague took you through comprehension, and this time around I'm taking you through summary writing. Summary writing is part of English language paper 2 and is usually question 1 in that paper. So we'll begin, we'll first of all look at what a summary is, and then later on we'll look at the rationale for summary writing. We'll also look at the steps involved in summary writing. This session is going to serve to help us understand what summary writing is and what it entails to write a good summary, especially for those students who are preparing for UCE, Senior 3, Senior 4, and then Senior 2. That's when we introduce summary writing. Let's begin by understanding what a summary is. What is a summary? A summary is a comprehension exercise that requires a student or a candidate to reduce a somewhat very long passage to a shorter, comprehensible piece. Sometimes summary writing is also called précis. It requires a student to identify the main points in a reading passage and reproduce these points in a more comprehensible, fluent form. What is the rationale for summary writing? The word rationale may also mean importance. It may mean importance. It may mean value. It may mean essence. So when we ask what is the rationale for summary writing, we are looking at the importance. Do we need to really learn summary writing in school? The first rationale is that summary writing helps you to build the skill of note making notes. This is a lifelong skill that is required by a student from O-level to A-level up to university. You need to know how to make your own notes. Number 2, summary writing helps in saving time, especially when studying. You need to know how to summarize and reduce the work that you have in the shortest time possible. You'll therefore save time. It also helps in preparation. When you are preparing for an examination, you need to summarize your work. It will be helpful if you have the skill of summary writing. We'll go to the next step, and that one is, what are the essentials of a good summary? What are the essentials? What are the essentials of a good summary? And this is what the examiner will always look for. The first essential aspect of summary writing is accuracy. It's accuracy. You must be accurate, exact in what the question asks for. Then number 2, the second essential aspect is clarity. The examiner will definitely look for clarity in your work. the clearness in expression. Therefore, you need to write clearly and simply. The third one is completeness. Completeness. Now, completeness requires you to express your points in complete sentences. Complete sentences. Do not use phrases, because phrases will kill that aspect of completeness. Then the other one is coherence. Coherence of ideas. You should learn to arrange your points systematically from the first to the last. And as you read the passage, therefore, you need to make sure that you follow through the passage and make sure that the points follow each other. Then the last one is conciseness. Conciseness. This is brevity. Do not be too wordy in your expression. Make sure that you use as few words as possible to avoid wordiness and to avoid writing a very long summary. Because if you write too much, definitely you are going to lose marks. The examiner will not mark everything that you have written. Therefore, you should write material that is within the word limit. Let me take you to the other aspect of my lesson today, and that is the most important one, the steps. The steps in summary writing. This is the most important part. The steps. Which steps do we follow? Step number 1, the question. Or question. Sometimes there are 2 questions, or 3 sometimes, but within 1 question. So the student, or a good learner, must understand the question. Begin by reading the question and understanding the key words in the question. Key words in the question. What are the key words? For example, the question may ask you, in about 100 words, summarize the effects of alcohol on man. In about 100 words, in about 100 words, summarize the effects of alcohol on man. Now, friends, when you look at that question, you need to pick out the key words. What are the essential aspects in that question? Because if you don't understand the aspects in the question, you are not going to look for the correct information. So we are going to look for the effects of alcohol on man. And that will give us our title. Under the question also, make sure that you rephrase. Try to rephrase the question in your own words. If they're asking the effects of alcohol on man, what does the word effect mean to you? And what does the word, maybe some of these words you may not understand them, but you need to try to rephrase. Make sure that you're answering the right question. Some students will always answer the wrong question. The moment you rephrase the question wrongly, you are going to look for the wrong information. And therefore, you won't get it right because you are answering the wrong question. So rephrasing is very important because it will help you to look for the right material to answer the question. The second aspect, after looking at the question critically, is The title. The title. Where do you get the title? The title or the heading of your summary essay. The heading must be picked from the question. From the keywords of the question, you'll get the title. For example, in the question above, in about 100 words, summarize the effects of alcohol on man. So here, your title is going to be the effects of alcohol on man. The effects of alcohol on man. Do not leave it hanging like it is. Make sure it is underlined smartly. What about using the lowercase letters? If you are going to use letters that are not capital letters, like I've used capital letters, you are going to capitalize what we call the functional words. The functional words, you say the effects of alcohol on man. We have the structural words and the functional words. So the structural words are of, on. These are structural words. They give us the structure of the sentence. And then the functional ones are effects, alcohol, and then man. Those should be capitalized. I hope we are together. Let's, under the title again, in case you are using these, the lowercase letters, or this kind of title, you must make sure that you underline it. Should you forget to underline it, then you are going to lose half a mark. And that is very fatal in the examination. The title must be correct grammatically. If the title is not grammatically correct, then you are going to definitely lose marks. You are going to score a half a mark throughout your essay. So you make sure that the title is grammatically correct. It must be as extensive as possible. There are questions that are longer. Make sure that your title covers all the aspects of the question. You should not look at a narrow part of the question. In case it's looking at the effects, the causes and effects, let the title reflect. I'm answering the causes and effects of alcohol on man, or something like that. We come to the third essential aspect of summary writing, and that one is the core, that is reading the passage. Reading the passage. You cannot answer a summary question without reading the passage. Because if you don't read the passage, you will not have the right information to present. And because you have used your own reasoning, you'll definitely lose a lot of marks. Because summary is about summarizing what you've been given, and that makes it simpler for the candidate. How would you read the passage? You have read the question, so read the passage with the question at the back of your mind. You have the question at the back of your mind. As you go through this passage, you are definitely going to look for the effects of alcohol. If there is anything beyond that, it becomes irrelevant. It's a non-issue. It is something that is not called for. You leave it out. As you're reading the passage, pick out the main points that answer the question. Pick out the main points. These are points that respond to the question. How would you pick out the main points? You can underline the points. As you're reading, to simplify, underline the what? The main points as you read. And you can number them, number 1 up to 20. Normally there are 20 points in a piece of in the passage that you've been given. The points picked do not include examples. They do not include examples. Examples and references. Examples and references should be left out. So my friends, there are examples that are given in the passage. They may look to be very relevant, but when I'm marking and I find such information, I'll put a tick 0. Yes, the information is in the passage, but doesn't respond or doesn't answer the question. In a 2 summary question, this is a 1 aspect summary question, but there are sometimes when you are given a 2 summary question, a 2 aspect summary question. That one, for example, the advantages and disadvantages. Please make sure that you also follow through systematically to avoid confusion. Points are picked out from the passage by numbering and underlining to ascertain that the total number is 20 before you can begin writing. After identifying your points, that brings us to the 4th aspect, or 4th essential aspect of summary writing. And that one is writing the rough copy. The rough copy. The rough copy. You have systematically worked through the passage and you have reached somewhere and you've identified your points. Now it is time for you to make the rough copy. Rough copy doesn't mean this is a dirty copy. No, rough copy simply is there to guide you as you prepare to make the fair copy. So the rough copy is going to be, number 1, it must have the title. Your rough copy must have a what? A title like we have earlier mentioned. Number 2, it must be in a clear paragraph. A clear paragraph form. In a clear paragraph. What do I mean by a clear paragraph? A paragraph is identified by indenting. The word is indenting. It is indented. This means that you must leave space from the margin. That's about half an inch. Half an inch of space before you begin the paragraph or the first word in your paragraph. So leave some space to make sure that you have made a clear paragraph. It must be in complete sentences. Try to write your rough copy in complete sentences. Complete sentences. What is a complete sentence or a complete statement? If you only picked your points from the summary piece and reproduce them the way they are, you are going to give us phrases. They are going to be incomplete statements that will not give you a mark. So make sure that every point that you write must come in a complete sentence. It must be a complete statement. In Senior 1, we learned about what a complete statement is and an incomplete one. So we know that very well. The first sentence of your paragraph, must, underline the word must. The first sentence of your paragraph must contain the subject. Must contain the subject. This is the thing asked for. The thing asked for. What have they asked for? in the question. So the first paragraph, the first sentence in your paragraph must contain that thing that has been asked for. For example, you have been asked the effects of alcohol on man. What are the effects of alcohol on man? So we have our title, the effects of alcohol on man. The effects of alcohol on man. So I said the first, you must indent to show your paragraph. So I've said that your first sentence must point out the thing asked for. So you'll say, our subject is effects of alcohol on man. So you'll say, alcohol can impair a man's efficiency. A man's what? Efficiency. That's a complete sentence. Alcohol can impair a man's efficiency. You have mentioned the subject is alcohol and the effect, it can impair a man's efficiency. So that is a point mentioned. Never introduce your summary with an empty statement. Empty statement means it doesn't mention any point in the summary. You're not answering the question. So make sure that the beginning sentence answers the question. What is that thing that has been asked for? What have I been asked to do in this summary? I'm going to look for the effects of alcohol. So you begin with the effect. One of the effects of alcohol is it can impair a man's efficiency. You have mentioned the point, then you can add other points. There should not be an introductory statement. Don't use an introductory statement. Do not use any introductory statements such as the following are the effects of alcohol. The moment you make an introductory statement and tell the examiner that the following are the effects of alcohol, you are going to use a semicolon and then you are going to list your points, which is erroneous. It's a grave mistake for you to begin with such an introductory statement. Now, make sure you don't use the following words in your beginning statement or opening statement. The following are, the effects include, the effects are the following are the effects, and so on and so forth. Don't use those statements because they encourage listing of points. Let's look at the second aspect. How do we build our paragraph? The fifth aspect now. The paragraph. We've just talked about the paragraph in passing, but now we want to look at the paragraph in detail. What do we look for in in a paragraph? It must be indented. Indented clearly. Indenting, I mentioned it here, that you leave space from the margin to show that this is my paragraph. This is where it begins. And use only and only one paragraph. Use only one paragraph. Now, my dear friends, if you use more than one paragraph, then you are going to lose marks because perhaps the second paragraph may not be marked. Someone is about to ask, what if there are two aspects? I'm looking at the advantages and disadvantages. Please, even if there are two aspects, make sure you compress them in one paragraph. Just look for good discourse markers to identify that these are advantages and these are disadvantages. Words like however, on the other hand, will be so helpful to us if we are looking at the second aspect of the question. Several paragraphs are prohibited. That's what I'm saying in short. Do not skip a line. Do not skip a line. Do not skip a line. That is called disjointed work. It will not give you a very good advantage when you're being marked. There are some of us who discontinue the sentence in the middle of the paragraph. That means you are beginning a new paragraph. Let's say this is our paragraph and we have written up to the end here. Then you come back and write and stop here, then begin afresh. This one is wrong because you are starting a new paragraph. A paragraph should not be discontinued along the way. There is also breaking words. You reach here and you want to write the word efficiency. And then you feel there's no space. You transfer the word E-N-C-Y. This is wrong and should be avoided because you have broken that word. Rather, transfer the whole word to the next line of the paragraph. The other aspect that we need also pay attention to is the sentence. The sentence, that's number 6. Sentence. The sentence. Oh, someone could be asking, what about a sentence? Every sentence written down must be complete. Every sentence written down must be complete. It must be complete. If you wrote as an incomplete sentence, it will make you lose a lot of marks. It will be marked as a phrase. So every sentence written down must be complete, bearing. Every sentence we know that must have a subject, it must have a verb, it must have an object. Okay? Subject, it must have the verb, it must have an object. That is a lesson for another day when we're talking about types of sentences and maybe sentence structure. We'll look at what is the verb, what is the subject, what is the object, and so on and so forth. Number 2 on sentence is start up every sentence in a clear, start up every sentence with a capital letter. Every sentence must begin with a capital letter. To show that this is a complete sentence or a sentence, a new sentence coming, you begin with a capital letter. And your handwriting also matters there. That will be another lesson for another day. The preceding sentences after the first sentence, can alternate between the subject and the pronoun. Write out the sentence after another until the end of the paragraph, even if more than one aspect has been asked for, e.g. causes, challenges, effects, and so on. So make sure that each of the preceding sentences must have the points that they should be complete sentences. There are sentences which are loaded with a lot of meaning. For example, one talk about the effects of alcohol on man. And we have more than one point that we want to integrate in the summary. So we will say the causes and effects of alcoholism. The causes and effects of alcoholism, and then let's imagine some of them are, we'll begin, people drink because of peer pressure. Then you say others drink alcohol because they want to forget their problems. Okay? Now, we have two sentences there, and each of them is an independent sentence. People drink because of peer pressure. Full stop. Others drink alcohol because they want to forget their problems. Okay? Now, those are two independent sentences, and they are mentioning independent points. But there are times when you have more than one point. You want to integrate the 2 points. And therefore, you will say, people drink because of peer pressure. People drink because of peer pressure, as well as the need to forget their problems. These are 2 points. Their problems. It is one sentence, but it has more than 1 point. So I'll give you peer pressure, tick 1, and then the need to forget, tick 1. And you'll have 2 points. But you can have 3 points in the same sentence. You can have 3 points in the same sentence. Let's say maybe people drink because of peer pressure, as well as the need to forget their problems. And then we have another one, and that is, so you'll have 3 points, and you'll begin like, we'll leave the as well. So we'll say, people drink because of peer pressure. You put there a comma. The need to forget problems. Forget their problems. The need to forget their problems. Then you bring the and the desire to fit in the society. There are those who drink because they want to fit in the what? In the society. Those are 3 points. We have 3 points. We have peer pressure, the need to forget their problems, tick 1, and the desire to fit in the society, tick 1. One sentence has 3 points. But you can have 4 points in the same sentence. And that sentence will be like, people drink because of peer pressure, they need to forget their problems. Then again, you put there another comma. They need to forget their problems. Okay? The desire to fit in the society. in the society, and maybe and due to ignorance. Others don't know why they are drinking, and therefore they just do what? Do it because they don't know what the effects are. You can have more than 5 points. One sentence can have about 7 of them, but you need to know how to connect the sentences. Connecting the points. Let's look at maybe another one here. A sentence that has about 7 points. And that one would be maybe the effects of alcohol. The effects of alcohol on man. The effects of alcohol on man. So you have about 7 of them. You say, alcohol can impair a man's efficiency dull his brain, relax his reflexes, and his self-control, as well as cause nausea, that is making someone dizzy, nausea. Now you are adding more points. Cause nausea, headache, and make them behave in abnormal ways. Okay? Now, where are the points? I'm going to show you that in that sentence there are about 7 points. It can impair a man's efficiency, that's 1, tick. Dull his brain, that's 1, tick. Relax his reflexes, those are 3. And his self-control, those are 4. Now you are bringing the 5th point, as well as cause nausea, that is 5, headache, those are 6, and make them behave in abnormal ways. Those are 7 points. In one sentence, you have scored 7 points in only one sentence. But where is the secret? The secret is in punctuation. That brings us to the 7th point, and that is punctuation. That is punctuation as our 7th essential. Punctuation. Yes. We all know what punctuation is. In summary writing, we only have 4 punctuation marks that we use. The first punctuation mark that you will use is a capital letter. Every sentence must begin with a capital letter. Okay? Now, should you begin your sentence without a capital letter, that will be penalized. The second punctuation mark is a comma. As you join the points, you can use a comma. This third essential punctuation mark is a full stop. And the last one is a hyphen. A hyphen is used for words that are compound, the compound words. We use a hyphen. I'll move very fast to word counting. After you have written your summary, you must go back and count the words. Transferring from the rough copy, you have maybe 120 words, and then you are now transferring to the fair copy. The fair copy. Transfer only that material that you think is necessary. Count your words in the rough copy. Now, when you're writing the fair copy, make sure that it follows the same procedure as the rough copy. It must have the title, it must be well indented, and it must be in strictly one paragraph with sentences that are complete. After writing the fair copy, make sure that you count the number of words. Word counting. If it's 100 words, please, I would require you to write at least 105. That's just maybe an excess that I can give you. But more than 20 words, I think that will be overboard. Count only the normal and compound words as they are. Hyphenated words must not be joined by removing the hyphen. Count them as one word. Then lastly, as I come to the conclusion, make sure that as you're counting the words, don't point your pen and ink in the summary, because this will look like full stops in your summary. And as someone is reading them, they'll think that maybe you put full stops all over. Use the back of your pen to count the number of words and keep the word limit. Ladies and gentlemen, I think today's session was to introduce you to summary writing. The next one will be the practical bit, which I'll go together through a passage and look at the practical bit of summary writing. I'm David Muboki, a teacher in Seroma Christian High School. I wish you the best. Thank you.